so much for being here. Mr. Samaniego, are you good to go on the translation? Wonderful. We're trying something a little different today. We are presenting just in English, and Mr. Samaniego will be doing the translation live in Spanish. So after we're done with the meeting, those of you that are hearing the translation in Spanish, we'd love to hear how your experience was with it, to know if this is a method that will work moving forward. So I am Mrs. Ramirez. I am the 5th through 8th grade principal. So I'm currently the principal. If your child attends here at Easter, I am your child's current principal, as well as I will be their principal throughout middle school. So I have the best job, the best age group. I absolutely love being the principal of the older kids. So I am very pleased to be here. So today we are going to be talking about the Easter Charter Middle School. Raise your hand if you have already filled out your interest form and turned it in. Okay. Raise your hand if you have not turned it in. Okay, so today, make sure you get it filled out, get it turned in. We'll be talking about due dates towards the end of our presentation, but we do want to make sure that everybody gets their forms in on time, because that is what gets you into the lottery, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a So starting off with our quote, Easter Charter Middle School is a great place to be yourself because no one will judge you. That is not Jorge in that picture, that is Jackie. But Jorge was a past student that gave us that quote, just so we're clear. One thing that I really love about Easter Charter is that our school, because it is a smaller middle school, and because the classroom sizes are smaller, which we'll talk about, there really is a sense of community in the middle school. And our kiddos that are in the back there, they went and visited our 6th grade classrooms a couple weeks ago before break. And one of the things they talked about is how they really feel like at our middle school that they don't experience bullying the way that you might envision in some middle schools. And when there are conflicts between the students, we are quick to immediately get involved, provide support so that they can come to school, feel safe, and go and just focus on what they're here to be here for, which is go to school, academics, athletics, whatever their interest may be, and not have to worry or have fear when they come to school. So let's start talking about the fun part. This meeting, Ms. Gallion was just saying this is one of her favorite meetings of the year. And I said, yeah, because we get to brag about our middle school. And I truly mean that. It is very easy for me to present about this middle school because I really truly believe in the work that we're doing here, and I believe in what a special place that it is. So let's talk a little bit about what sets us apart. So first of all, traditional middle school. So we're talking like Chula Vista Middle School or some of our other traditional middle schools. You're looking at class sizes that range from 30 to 35 students. During the day, student will see approximately 6 to 7 teachers, and one teacher for every period, and they'll have upwards of 850 or more students. So we can think of it like the size of the entire Easter school. Whereas at Easter Charter Middle School, none of the classes go over 25 students. So they're getting that individualized attention from our teachers. They also have 2 main teachers. So their ELA teacher also teaches them history, and their math teacher also teaches them science. So they have a homeroom teacher that they have advisory with, and it really is responsible for making sure that that student doesn't just kind of fall in between the cracks, but they are responsible for that student's well-being. And then they also have an elective teacher and a PT teacher. So altogether, students are seeing 3 to 5 teachers. Typically, it's in a day it's 3. But on the day they have mind labs, which is once a week, they have an additional teacher for that. That's why we talk about 5 teachers. And lastly, we have a maximum of 200 students. That is a hard limit. We do not go past that number of 200. We make sure that we can meet the needs of those 200 students. Because of that, that is the reason why we have our lottery system, which again, we'll talk about in just a minute. Okay, so academics. So what are our classes that we offer? We have English and history, which we refer to, this will be new for you next year, parents. We call that humanities. So they have a humanities teacher, which is English and history. We have our STEM teacher, which is math and science. Our PE teacher, our advisory teacher, which as I mentioned is their homeroom. We have our intervention class, which is once a week, which is just meant for getting kids where they need to be if they're struggling in a specific area. And we have CTE, which we're going to be talking about in depth. CTE is something brand new to our school this year. If you happen to have a child in 7th and a child in 6th right now, and you were here last year when we were presenting about this, you would know that we were just bringing it in, and now this year we get to share with you guys a little bit of the fruit of all the work that was put into bringing CTE to our school. Electives. So part of our mission here at Easter is to advance career and college and career readiness, as well as language. And so many of you know we're a dual immersion school. This year was our very first year that we brought dual immersion to middle school. So we have 7th grade has dual immersion, and next year it will be in both. But all of our electives are centered around that. So they're either connected to career and college readiness, CTE course, or they're connected to language. So we have, and the students get to select their electives. So because of that, we make sure that our electives are very engaging, something that the kids really want to learn about. So we offer agri-science, where students actually grow their own food. It's also a cooking class. They take that food that they're growing and they learn to make meals with it. We have our brand new career exploration class, which you're going to get to see a video that will show a little bit about what they do in that. But in the career exploration class, they get the opportunity to do hands-on projects, hands-on learning in multiple career sectors. So you'll see in the video in just a little bit, students stitching up a leg, not a they are doing manicures, they are working with engines, all sorts of career sectors that they could potentially move into the future. I'm telling you right now, most middle schools do not offer anything like this. This is something that's very unique to Easter. We're really proud of it. The kids are absolutely loving it. So you can see some video clips of that. We also offer interior design, and yes, there are boys and girls that love to take that class, and it is so fun to walk in and see them designing their set. We have robotics that competes. We have American Sign Language. We have architecture, sports medicine, and then Spanish 1 and 2, which actually counts for the A to G requirements for high school. So if they take Spanish 1 and 2, they get to skip that in high school. It rolls over for them. Financial literacy, because we all need to know how to manage our credit cards. Personal fitness, industrial manufacturing, and musical theater. This is just a little picture of our agri-science elective. This is actual lettuce that our kids are growing in our greenhouse. Raise your hand if you've seen our greenhouse before. Okay, if you haven't seen it and you come for FCMS or performance, just take a little peek. It's over there in the middle school area in the back, and you can see the amazing greenhouse that we have. Mind lab. So this was another change that happened last year. For the first time this year, and this will continue moving forward, students get to choose their mind lab class. So I'm a little bit sick right now, so I'm sorry for my voice. But with our mind labs class, they get to choose the area that they already know they have interest. And instead of doing the 8 different mind labs classes over the span of the 2 years, over the span of the year, they instead will do 2 mind labs classes, one for an entire semester, where they will be able to really focus in on that interest that they know that they have. So in our mind labs, we have DAPA mind labs, which are dance, art, and we also offer mariachi. That was incredible this year to see that for the first time. Kids that never picked up an instrument, and by the end of the semester, they were able to play songs. They did a little performance here. STEM, we have our interscholastic athletics. We have a 3D printing design and competition, which, by the way, won first place in the competition this year, going up against high school students. And we brought home the gold. Intro to manufacturing and development, when they're doing things like t-shirts, doing laser cutting machines, just really neat opportunities, and intermediate theater. Now, our CTE program, what is CTE? CTE stands for Career Technical Education. What we really want to make sure is that our middle school students, even now at this age, are thinking about what are my future career paths, and giving them opportunities to see if that career path that they think they want to go in is truly something they love. How many of you, when you graduated from high school, maybe had no idea what you wanted to do next? Never had that conversation. That was me when I graduated from high school. I was applying to schools and I had no idea what I wanted to do. I ended up becoming a teacher, and here we are today. So it all worked out. But we want our students to really have an opportunity to see what are the things out there that I enjoy that I can make a career out of. And not just a career, but a career that will allow me to make enough money where I can live in San Diego. Because we're raising our kids in a very expensive city. And we need to make sure that they are exposed to career pathways that will allow them to remain in San Diego. So what do we offer? We have our career exploration electives. We have our mind lab, and the career exploration block is something that we are looking for next year. But these are all opportunities, again, for them to get that hands-on experience. And with that, we are going to show you a little video of some of the CTE electives that kids are able to.
At Feaston Charter Middle School, our long-standing focus on STEAM is expanding to include career and technical education, also known as CTE, which combines academic learning with practical skills to prepare students for college and careers. Beginning in middle school, students explore pathways in fields like healthcare, technology, and manufacturing, gaining career-specific and soft skills that align with workforce demands while reducing dropout rates. Our career exploration class offers a hands-on, interactive experience designed to inspire the next generation of dreamers, doers, and innovators. Using Paxton Patterson's College and Career Ready Labs, students experience authentic problem-based learning across a wide range of career clusters. These highly engaging interactive labs put students in the driver's seats, allowing them to collaborate, think critically, and progress through hands-on projects tailored to real-world skills. Students work in situations with a partner, exploring careers in fields like healthcare, engineering, cosmetology, and more. In one class, you might find students stitching a leg, learning to weld, cutting hair, or even practicing how to give a manicure, also while building essential skills for their future. Every activity is carefully crafted to build a strong foundation for high school, college, and beyond. And with this course fulfilling an AEG requirement for high school, they're already taking their first steps toward college and career readiness.
To support career explorations, students use Zello, an online platform integrated into their MyLabs classes. Zello helps students build portfolios, discover university pathways, and match careers to their strengths, interests, and values. As they learn more about themselves and their future possibilities, students engage more deeply within electives and MyLabs. At Feaster Charter, career exploration starts early with students identifying their strengths, interests, and value from TK onward. By middle school, students demonstrate these qualities by self-selecting semester-long electives and MyLab classes.
Through our partnerships with the Linda Vista Innovation Center and the Brain Observatory, students gain hands-on experiences in areas such as design thinking, advanced manufacturing, and neuroscience. These real-world opportunities provide practical insights into fields like technology, engineering, and cognitive research. Together, these initiatives foster a career-curious culture across all grade levels, empowering students to explore, develop, and pursue their unique pathways to success.
We'll have expanded our careers to include almost double what we have right now. So we'll have dentistry, physical therapist. We will have just multiple career sectors that they can try out, get to know optometrists, different careers that again, there are places for them here in San Diego. And right a second, Zello, we talked about, I won't go too much into this, but just know that as the students being at Easter, they are able to identify their strengths, their interests, their values, and be matched with careers.
And like Mrs. Ramirez was just sharing regarding our CTE program, everything that we are able to offer, I know that you saw a very brief clip of a robot on campus who we call Sparky, and Mr. Samaniego over there in his house in his classroom. That is just one piece of the technology that we have, but that's not it. Your students are also able to take home their iPad device. So like in elementary school, every single student has their own assigned iPad device, but once they get to 7th grade, they are now able to take those devices home to use them for academic purposes. Making eye contact with everyone, academic purposes is a key word. These devices still have some of the restrictions that we have here at school, such as not being able to download apps, they can't go on to iMessages, things like that. But we do entrust that our families will also have the proper security on their home internet as well. That will be happening next year. And the reason why we allow our middle schoolers to take their iPad devices home is because they need to catch up on work. Sometimes, Sophia, how's your homework load? It really can be. And part of that is about managing time. So we want the students to have the resources available at home, off the school hours, so that they can really manage their time and learn how to handle overload. Ms. Ramirez also talked a little bit about the Linda Vista Innovation Center and the Brain Observatory. I love these field trips. We had someone here from the district yesterday, and she was like, "Oh, are you still going to the innovation station?" And in my head, I was like, "We have grown that." I didn't say that out loud. Luckily, my filter kicked in. But the innovation stations here in Chula Vista are very primary. They're very young. Those are things like the sound station. We have I think that they just did like a hydro station, things like that. We have advanced our partnership to include things like robotics, advanced manufacturing, and that all connects back to our STEAM skills. So the Linda Vista Innovation Center students learn things like podcasting, they're learning robotics, they're learning coding, and they're also learning their communication skills. And most of the teachers at LVIC, they're actually from the workforce. So they actually have experience in manufacturing. I walk into their classroom, I'm like, I would lose a limb if I tried to do half of what you were teaching these kids how to do right now. But you are actually training them at such a foundational level that they are able to learn more than I ever had the opportunity to learn. And the Brain Observatory, you walk into that place, there's an entire wall with refrigerated brains. And what your kids are actually doing there is they're looking at these brains under a microscope. And also, have you been to the Brain Observatory yet? Do you want to say like a quick sentence about it?
I'm gonna see how a brain looks like, feels like, and how much it weighs.
How much does it weigh?
Or like 15 pounds.
Oh, that just starts. I feel like awesome. Sophia, do you want to say anything about LVIC or the Brain Observatory? That is amazing. When I was in middle school, I didn't even know what neuroscience was. And now our kids are here and they're actually experiencing it, which I just feel is so powerful. So in addition to everything that we just talked about, that all happens during the school day, we also have the after school program. And I would share as well that this doesn't just stop after school because it's also marriage. It's honestly the most amazing thing that I can think of for your children. I was talking with Mrs. Cavino, one of our middle school teachers, and she's like, "Yeah, my sister works at another school, and I explained her everything that we offer for our program. But we have a Lego club, we have a homework club, we have tutoring, we have an architecture club, we have esports, we have athletics." And the other teacher from a different school, her jaw just dropped because how are you? We have a Mr. Juan, we have a Mr. San Diego, we have a community who shows up and they say, "Hey, my kids need opportunities after school." And we have a team here at Easter who come together and they're like, "We got you, we hear you. Let's do art, let's do backstage, let's do ballet folklorico, let's do esports, let's do girls who code." And these change all the time. Well, not all, but usually like quarterly, semesterly, because students will come to us and they'll be like, "Hey, we need this." Sophia, and we're going to turn it back to you really quick. Do you want to tell a little bit about how the girls' flag football team started? We started out so a few girls were left to learn and after 2013, and she said yes. And during the week before the game started, we had a game, and we lost every single game of the playoffs. And we got to playoffs. We won 2 games back to back with 5 minutes of rest. Then we went on to championship, which we won with over 30 years. Right? Thank you, Sophia. You tell a story better than I ever could. And again, that was because our students came and they were like, "Hey, we want this, we need this, here's why." And we have the team here at Easter is like, "Heard, making it happen now, like on it." So we also, of course, beyond the after school program, have a lot of academic support. Office hours, That is time when the teachers are here after school and they are available to help your students with all of that homework that we just talked about in the text line. Anything that your students are falling behind on, anything that they're maybe struggling with. So our middle school teachers are saying, yeah, we understand time management is hard. Let's give you some dedicated time here on campus where you have access to Wi-Fi, outlets to charge your iPads, and we can make sure that you get the support that you need. In addition, we have academic counseling, which is personalized guidance that really helps your students not just make academic goals to improve their GPA and their grades, but also to meet those goals. And that just really prepares them for high school and beyond. It just helps them have something to work towards and have an action plan to meet that overall goal. We also have after school tutoring, of course, which is a little bit more strategic, just for your children. I talked a lot about sports already, but I have to tell a quick story because Sophia Middleton, before winter break, I was at one of your soccer games on Saturday. And I was walking, I had all my Feaster gear on, I had my Feaster hat, I'm walking into the game, and I hear this little kid behind me. No idea who this kid was, he was not going to hear. And he goes, oh, Feaster. And I kind of look and I'm like, okay, what are you going to say here? Like, where is this going? And he goes, they have the best sports teams. They're all so good. And he starts listing all of these sports teams to his parent. And he's they're good basketball, soccer. I heard that they have lacrosse. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he was a child. And he was like a huge Feaster fan. And then at the end, I'm walking very slow at this point because I want to hear him like bragging about us. He finally goes, and their field's really nice.
True.
So proud. My heart was full. And Sophia and Alfonso, that's because of your efforts. It's not because of, you are the stars out there on the field. So we do offer a ton of sports for your students. I want to give one more shout out. Our cheer team for middle school, they are in Hawaii right now. They are in the Shark World Finals, which I just think is amazing. They have worked so hard. Those intercessions that I was talking about, like the time between when we are all on break, like hanging out at home, doing whatever we're doing on our vacation, they are here practicing. They have been here every single day of winter session from like 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. They are practicing and we are so proud of them. Now, can I add something to that real quick? I just want to remind everybody what I mentioned at the beginning, that we are a school of 200 students in comparison to the traditional middle school that has 850 and up. So the fact that our middle school could go all the way to the world finals, I mean, this is just extraordinary. It really is something for us all as a community to be proud of. It really is. It's just so much pride. When Mr. Merritt said that this is our favorite meeting, we get to brag. We weren't kidding. So for fall, we have cheer, cross country, lacrosse, basketball, Mr. Villarreal, cross country coach right there. And these are people who are coaching because it's something that they're passionate about, which just sends that message to our kids, like, hey, this passion doesn't need to end. This passion continues through your whole life. Winter sports, you will see a pattern here, cheers in all of them, quick heads up. Cheer, soccer, and lacrosse. And also our spring sports, cheer, flag football, and track and field. So we're very excited. Quick heads up, parents, especially when you get to middle school, the games are outside. We're just going to go by that one real fast. In addition to all of the academic support, athletic support, we also want students to start looking towards their future, whatever that may look like to them. One option for their future is college. It's just the reality. So we make sure that our students are able to partner and visit different universities, colleges, and see different opportunities that they will have for their future. Some of the college visits have been closed down to middle schoolers because they feel like it's too early for them to start considering this. And we said, no, it's not. So we are at least having this conversation with your kiddos, and we're trying ways to make sure that your students are able to see what college would look like, but also through the DTP program to explore different opportunities through vocational schools, so mechanic schools, electrical things like that. I love this picture. It was great. So, now, in conjunction or kind of connected to the career and technical education program, it's more of a skill. We realize that one of the things that students also need, they need like firsthand experience because of living the life of these career professionals. So, what we have done, one day a year, we bring professionals on campus. Some of you I know that I've seen, some of you here actually speaking to our students about your different professions. We have engineers who come on campus. We have a mayor on campus before. We have the officer one. Oh, yeah, canine unit, border patrol, South bomb squad is their favorite. They come in with a big old bomb squad. I don't even know what you would call it. Bombmobile.
Yeah, vehicle.
Literally, the kids get to get on it, get gear on. It's really interesting.
And so we have the fire department here. We have also people who work in child development. Last year we had an ILAC technician. That was a very popular station. And the students actually kind of get to see the speakers who are going to be here on campus, and they get to choose which stations they visit. So here, Alfonso, did you want to share anything about career day?
Yes, in career day, we could choose three and no, they chose for us, depending on our writing. They chose for us the three careers and we were supposed to take notes with which was one. And at the fourth one, we could actually go to wherever we want, and that's when we all chose the bomb.
For example, we had a recycling specialist there, and her job is just in little ways, not in big ways, but just in little ways. I love that. Thank you. There are just so many options for these students, and that career day usually happens at the end of the school year because they have had time to kind of explore their RISEC, which Alfonso mentioned, which is their kind of being connected to the workforce. So RISEC is realistic, investigative, artistic, social, enterprising, intentional. If you want more detail, ask your team. So we also focus on the social emotional learning here at Research Charter. And one of the reasons why we do that is because we understand that the relationships that we have with your students are crucial. They are so important. We need to make sure that we are able to do consistent check-ins with your kiddos. Earlier in this presentation, we shared that our class sizes are down to 25. She also shared that we have 200 students in our middle school. One of the reasons why we have done that is because that gives us the opportunity to really make close connections with every single student on campus. Mrs. Ramirez can look at a student and be like, oh, I know this, and this about them. And she's just able to recite facts and make those clear connections. We have teachers who are on campus who are like, oh, I know that this kid is having a rough day because of how their hair looks today. So I'm going to spend a little bit of extra time and I'm going to check in with this kiddo this morning, first thing. Having those connections does so much for your child, not just socially and emotionally, but academically. And just as a person, so that they know that we care about them, we appreciate them, and we respect them. We do have 3 counselors on campus. They are in charge of our partnerships with places like our campus clinic and Nuestra. If anything is happening with your child or they need a little bit more support, our counselors have the answer, they have the resources, and they know how to get you in connection with anyone who can support you and your child. This one is so important because we need opportunities like this. We also have the Boys Command Mentoring Program, which is a group of males who come on campus. They are part of a whole foundation. They do a ton of work in our community, and they work to develop social skills with our boys. This is a program that we started about 2-3 years ago, right, Mrs. Ramirez? Second year. Our second year with Voice Connect. And they have come to things like our empowerment summit for boys. They have just been on campus, been really present, and they're really connecting with our boys to make sure that they're able to develop socially. With that, we have our counseling services. We have a dedicated counselor just for our upper grade students, which includes middle school. They are trained in crisis response. They help build confidence. They meet with students both on a student on-demand basis. So the student is having a hard time. Every single classroom in our school has a QR code that they can scan. It sends a form straight to their counselor's email so that that counselor knows that that student needs to be checked. We also have a system where teachers can refer students. For example, I talked about the social emotional learning piece. Part of that is having trust circles in the morning, morning conversations. I've had students who have come to me and ordering the trust circle and say, my grandparents passed away and having really rough. That next grade, when I'm not around students, I'm filling out the form to let the counselors know what's going on with that kid, so that they can check in on them too, because they have more training in bereavement and loss than I do. So I'm able to get in connection with someone who's actually trained to meet the needs of your child. And they're also amazing. They're just out on campus all the time. They're at the front in the morning. They're helping walk kids to class. They're present on campus, which I think says a lot about the stigma that can kind of be associated with counseling. And it really helps to build closer connections with our community and with the students. Ms. Gallion, if I could add to that, you can look at a lot of the schools across most districts, including ours. Many times we have one counselor, or even in some cases, a counselor that they're shared with another site. And we have here at Easter, we are very fortunate to prioritize the social, emotional, and mental health needs of our students. We have 3 counselors. We typically have anywhere from 1 to 3 counselor interns. We have 2 psychologists, and we have a behavior specialist and a restorative sports specialist. And part of that is the fact that we benefit from the fact that we are a school's behavior, so we're able to share those resources. But that really truly is there in order to meet the social, emotional, and mental health needs of your kiddos, so that they can be present mentally, emotionally for the academics that are being brought to them. Thank you, Mrs. Ramirez. And on that note, we also have a full-time nurse. A lot of full-time have also cut back to the point where they're sharing the nurse, or they have to part-time. Ours is here full-time. And we have this Melissa who just does everything, or about everything. Okay, nobody else. Okay. We talked a lot already about our after-school program and Falcons Accelerate. If you were at our coffee community, it was in December, they did a whole presentation. One of the things that we are very proud of is our partnership with a company called Howard Gardner. If you've ever been to Disneyland, Howard Gardner is the one who does all of their talks. Our students in the Falcons Accelerate program actually got to go visit that warehouse, and they did a whole tour seeing how something that's like a pile of wood and steel turns into this amazing animatronic. We actually have a sign in the air non-disclosure agreement to go visit. We're not allowed to take any pictures of anything, but it was truly impressive. They also had the opportunity to make the ghost effect, which is like the haunted mansion effect, and they made it with this little kit right there at the Howard Gardner whole studio. It was an amazing experience. And that happened because of our partnership with Falcons Accelerate. One of our newest Falcons Accelerate clubs is esports, which has been so much fun because they're actually communicating as they're playing games. Ildefonso, are you going to be at the esports tryouts? Esports tryouts are coming up, and this is an opportunity for students not just to sit and play video games, but they actually also are communicating. They're playing out plays together. And it's just such a respectful form of competition. After they do like a good move, I don't know if it's called like a score, I don't know all the jargon, I apologize. But I'll see them and they're doing like little high fives to each other. It is in such a respectful way that I have so much appreciation for the social skills that these programs are developing because it's teaching them how to be respectfully competitive. We also have our ballet folklorico and mariachi, and we have our CTE classes. So a ton of amazing programs are happening here at these programs, and those all continue into the
All right, we're gonna wrap up because we also want to make sure that you have time for questions, but we will not wrap up until we go over the very important parts of behavior, conduct, and we're gonna talk about uniform. So those of you that have sixth grade students here, I do want to be very transparent. There is a lot of structure in middle school. A lot of structure when it comes to behavior. We are very strict on the rules. We do that to make sure that your child is in a safe place. And as a reminder, we have students all the way down to transitional kinder. So we have to make sure that our middle school is safe for all of the students on campus, including those middle schoolers. Do you want to say something? Okay. And so we have our Falcon Code and our Code of Conduct. Our three non-negotiables are being a hard worker, having good attendance, and demonstrating appropriate behavior. So we're going to talk a little bit at the very end of this about the average contracts. And I'll go into that more in depth, but these are non-negotiables when your child is here at Easter. Another non-negotiable is uniform. Parents, I ask of you, please, if you are considering having your child here at Easter Charter Middle School, you must know that our uniforms are 100% required. Read through the uniform code in detail. It includes things like no facial piercing. There are many aspects to it that we ask that you as parents sign a compact prior to entering into the school, that you understand the uniform code and that your child will follow it. You can see our middle schoolers in the back. Our uniform code is maroon on top. Sophia has a black shirt on underneath because it is a sports short shirt from Easter, so that's fine. And then the bottom is khaki. So khaki pants, khaki shorts, khaki skirt, whatever you prefer. But the sweaters, jackets, even everything has to be maroon on top. Okay. And then our PE also, again, exact same, very set uniform code, a gray shirt on top, and on the bottom is black athletic shorts or pants. They are not allowed to wear any jewelry during PE because PE is different in middle school in that it is a regular class and students, when they go to PE, are engaged in pretty rigorous athletic activity. So it's really important that they, for instance, girls are not wearing hoop earrings or necklaces that if they're out there playing soccer, somebody could grab it, they can cut, they can choke, whatever it may be. Rings that could cut somebody, none of that is allowed. All right, so how does it work for us, for your child to get into Easter Charter Middle School? There's one thing that I really want to clarify because this sometimes is a misconception. When it comes to the middle school, we have what is called a tiered priority system. And I'm going to go over what those tiers are. Our tiers, however, do not include, let's say your child has been here since September, and they get all the way to sixth grade, it doesn't mean that they are automatically going to have a spot in our middle school. In fact, if you just look at the map, we have approximately 150 sixth graders, and we have 100 spots for seventh grade. So one, not counting students that come from other schools, which is also open to them, minimum 1/3 of our sixth graders will be placed on the wait list after the lottery. And that's very important for everybody to understand. And that is why we make it so important that those 3 areas of attendance, being a hard worker, and we're not basing it on grades, but we need to know that a student that's taking one of those 100 spots is going to be here and take advantage of the education that they are getting here. And that last, being a good citizen, that is also a non-negotiable. So fighting, bathing, all of that is not something that should be present at the middle school. So with that said, what are the lottery tiers? So first priority is children of Eastern Charter School employees and board members, present and past. That is like their child, not their nephew or their stepbrother's child and their child. But that will not exceed 10% of the projected enrollment. We never get anywhere to that. We have 2 or 3. Second, and this is brand new this year, it was accepted in our charter renewal. We are now giving priority to any students that have siblings here at Beaver. And the reason why we decided to add that this year is because for families that have kids here at school, we want to facilitate that not having to take their children to school. So we are giving priority to those that have siblings enrolled at Beaver. And then last is all other students. So that includes any students that are currently attending Beaver, as well as any students from other schools. So our lottery drawing, so another thing that is new this year is our DI, remember I mentioned the dual immersion started this year in Beaver. Our DI program, which is 25 out of the 100 students, they will have a separate lottery. So if your child is part of the DI program, or if you are interested in that, they will have a drawing separate from the regular drawing. Those 25 will be pulled, and then a wait list will be created. And then any student on the wait list for DI will automatically be put in the EO lottery as well. So I know that can be a little confusing, so just if your child is in the dual immersion program and you want to find out more about that, just find me after and I'll explain. The way that the lottery works, you have to have your interest form in prior to the due date. After the due date, you are automatically added to the end of the wait list. We do throughout the year get through a portion of the wait list. Sometimes even it might be 8th grade. And I will tell you this year, there were parents that were calling every single day, what number are we now on the wait list? Because they took their child to another middle school and it was not a good situation for them. So know that even if your child is on the wait list, we continue to follow that wait list throughout. It's very fair the way the system works. Nobody cuts the line. And we make sure that in the order that your name is drawn, you have an opportunity to be. So our due dates are important lottery dates. So middle school interest forms became available December 11th. They are due February 12th at 3:30 p.m. Okay, so most of you, I know you already raised your hand that you put it in. You are good. You're on the list. Nothing you need to do now until February 20th at 12 o'clock. We will have our lottery drawn. Our lottery drawing is not open to the public, but please know that it is a very robust process. We have a board member present, a community member, a student, me, admin, a coordinator, oftentimes our executive director, and we record the lottery drawing to make sure that there is complete transparency. Please know that anybody who knows me knows that I am obsessed with fairness. And so our system is very transparent and very done in a way that is fair for all. And then the acceptance letters will be sent out 1 week after that by March 1st. They might be out before that, but by March 1st, they will be out. The final day for incoming middle schoolers to confirm their attendance due date, meaning that you bring in all the paperwork that you need to bring in to hold your spot, is April 3rd. If the paperwork is not all turned in, which includes a couple different things, the compact, a couple other things. If it's not turned in by April 3rd, the spot opens up for the first person on the wait list. So April 4th, we begin to go through the wait list with any spots that people did not get their paperwork turned in by from the first 100 students. Then our mandatory, this is very important, please write down or circle this date, Wednesday, May 14th, 2025, ignore that 2024, at 3:00 p.m., we will have our middle school orientation. It is mandatory. Every parent that has a child at middle school needs to be here. Get here early because last year we had people all standing in the back. Every single seat was full. You come with your child. We go over everything the student needs to know, and they sign up for their election. So that is an incredibly important day because your child gets the elective that they want. And if a parent does not show up to the orientation, we schedule a time where they have to come in and watch the video of the orientation. So just come to the orientation. It's much more entertaining in person than it is on the recorded. And then last, I believe this is going to be our last slide. So, and not to end on a down note, but Mr. Villarreal will say something after, so we'll let him get back up. But our conference contracts, so what are those? So those exist in two different ways. They exist in sixth grade for incoming middle schoolers, and they exist in middle school if incidences occur. So right now, we primarily are giving contracts for attendance. So if your child in sixth grade has chronic absenteeism, has over the number of absences that we consider over 3 unexcused absences to be chronic absenteeism, then they will be placed on an at-risk contract. What that means is that their absences must not go over a certain number prior to the end of the year, or they will lose their spot. So then again, that's when it opens back up to the waiting list. Same with the behavior contracts. Our behavior contracts are the things that threaten the safety of the student or other students. So that includes fighting. If your child were to get into a fight in sixth grade, they would be placed on an at-risk contract. And if there's another incident, they would not be allowed to. Vaping, there's a list. If you're interested to know what the list is, just know that it's not things like talking back to your teacher. It's things that are specifically threaten the safety of the student. Okay? If your child is on an at-risk contract, you will receive a notice that you need a meeting. We will go over that with. Okay, so Mr. Villarreal is going to share a little bit, and then the rest of the time will be for questions. Any questions that you guys have?
I'll be quick on this. I just wanted to say thank you for being here, considering Easter for some of you. It's not even a consideration, but children probably have been here since PK or preschool when we had preschool. So I know that you're hoping that child. So let me just share something. Faith that you want something for yourself, you want something for your child, and you will it. You will get it. Okay? Also, ensure that your children understand the privilege that they in this opportunity. Because as you saw, and those of you that may have gone to middle school and high school here in the state, you know what experiences we had. You know, very none, right? So great opportunities. I'm going to share something else here that you will not probably have at a traditional middle school. You're not going to have a dedicated principal like it is amazing principal, and she is open to listening to parents, to students, whenever anything comes up that is any concern. We, are, as she mentioned, mainly fair. We want to make fair decisions. However, we have to also ensure the safety of the community so that students can thrive, grow, and understand and realize the potential. Okay? It's super important. But I just wanted to finalize by just sharing with you that your children are not just going to get the opportunity to experience all the learning, they're going to get the opportunity to also engage with and think. So I just wanted to give her kudos because over the last 4 years, we've developed these programs, and it's all because of the passion that Mrs. Ramirez has, okay, and our administrators supporting you, and also Dr. Slayman, that they know who they are. Dr. Slayman is our director for the whole school, and Mr. Gordillo is the principal for TK through 4th grade. And of course, those of you that may not know me, I am Mr. Villarreal, I'm the executive. I just ensure that you all, as a community, are for your children. So I want to thank you here, and I'm going to turn the mic back over to Mrs. Ramirez for the questions there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vera. Ms. Gallion is going to come around with the microphone if you have a question. I know this was a ton of information, but are there any questions?
You don't have to use the mic, that's stopping you from asking a question.
The question in the back.
Is there one question? One of our current speakers.
What we said, depending on the accident, they were going to be on
At-risk contract.
yeah. How much is the limit?
So we flag if it's over 3 unexcused absences or 5 unexcused tardies. And then after that, it's the contract is based off of a certain number that they get from the remainder of the year. And again, these are unexcused. So we're not looking at doctor's appointments and that type.
So basically, if let's say I get COVID and I'm sick for 3 days, is that when
COVID doesn't count. No. COVID doesn't count against you. And you don't have to worry about it. You're about to graduate, but. And one thing I didn't clarify about the at-risk contracts was that these continue in middle school. So let's just say, for instance, a 7th grader gets into a fight, which, by the way, I just want to say, 4 years ago, that was something that happened pretty often. This year, we've had 0 the entire school year. Last year, in the entire school year, we had 1 the entire school year. So, this is not something that occurs often. But let's just say if something were to happen in 7th grade, even in 7th grade, even once you've been accepted, that child has the potential to lose their spot. And then a spot would open up for a student on the wait list. Because again, we cannot have any situations that threaten the safety of students. So no questions? Yes, questions. Go ahead, right here in front, and then we'll go. Yes.
So I know my daughter is so is that put her lower?
No. So the only thing that changes authority is whether or not she has a sibling here. If they have a sibling, then they do get priority. That tier does come before. But otherwise, everybody is at the same level when it comes to the law. Same time, same meeting, same video recording, it will just happen first. We'll pull those 25 names, and then we'll pull the rest for the wait list. And then again, all those ones that were in the wait list, then we will put their names back in the lottery drawing for EO. And I love watching Mr. Samaniego translate. He's not just translating my words, he's translating my hand motions back. Whatever hand motion I do, I see him doing the same one. So yeah, it will all happen. And again, if your child is in DI currently at this school or at any other school, you definitely want to apply for the DI program because that again, those 25 spots are reserved for DI, and you lose nothing by entering into that lottery because you automatically go to EO. And for those who don't know, EO is English only. Other questions?
We have a question on Zoom asking to summarize what Mr. Villarreal shared. The Zoom question was whether or not we can summarize. Yes, we can. Mr. Villarreal was showing appreciation for Mrs. Ramirez and making sure that everyone was aware that our lottery process is transparent. We were also sharing appreciation for
It's not the school that is assigned to people that live in this neighborhood is Chula Vista Middle School. That is your school. Everybody that's coming in to this school, that's why everybody is equal. Everything is free. Because technically, the middle school is not a country school for any student. So you can live in Temecula and still come to school here if you take it to getting your child here on time. Any other questions? No? All right. We'll think of one more. Ahí atrás, Sofía, can you come to the interest form? Great. If you have any other questions that maybe you didn't want to answer or ask in front of everybody, feel free, we'll be here. If you wouldn't mind, those that are listening in Spanish, you can place the iPads on the back table as you leave. How did the experience go with